So my name is Tracy, and I'm all the way from South Africa. And my passion in technology, of course, Microsoft. I mean, I've got SharePoint on my arm. What does that say to you? So absolutely love Microsoft, but I definitely love what Microsoft does for people. So how it empowers people, how it empowers our users, and I focus a lot on change management, user adoption, on helping companies with their strategy towards the cloud, how to change those cultures in the company, what their roadmap should be. And that's what this session is all about. It's about developing that culture that we need for a digital-first business mindset. And that, I think, is a tricky thing to understand. There's so much terminology out there and buzzwords these days. Digital disruption. Scary. Okay. So, a digital-first business mindset is about changing culture together with changing technology. It's not just the technology. You're not going to just push out teams there and then you have a digital-first business mindset. And I mean, I've said this so many times, is that it's not the product that changes the culture. Yammer is not going to give you a better communication culture. People do, Yammer facilitates it. Teams is not going to give you a better collaboration culture. It facilitates the culture when it starts forming. So don't make the mistake of thinking you can just throw tech at the problem, because we've done that for the last 20 years and it didn't work, right? I don't know if it was working for you, but it wasn't working for me in the companies where I was involved. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is, and for me, this is the biggest impact we're going to have to you to develop a digital-first business mindset. This is going to be the biggest stumbling block for sure. So the first thing I want to talk about is the evolution of how we use technology. We'll come back to the others. What I'm also going to cover with you is something about digital literacy and training. Who was at Ignite last year? Was anyone in my session last year about digital literacy? So digital literacy and training, I'm going to talk about citizen developers as well. I want to talk about diversity, roles, and responsibilities. And then, of course, I'm going to just end off with what I then mean is a company culture. So when I talk about the evolution of finding stuff, or the evolution of how we use technology, this is where the challenge starts. Now, people say to me, I meet them at conferences, and they say, Trace, you're not going to have work soon. And I'm like, why is that? And they go, we don't have to train people anymore. If Microsoft only made their software intuitive like Apple does, then we wouldn't have to train people. I'm like, really? So you know what example they then use? I say, like, tell me what intuitive is. Oh no, my 2-year-old can take my iPad and click a couple of buttons and like download stuff and do things. I'm like, that's amazing. Has your 2-year-old worked with DOS? Has your 2-year-old worked with Lotus 123 or Lotus Notes, or with Windows XP, or with Office 2003? No. So adopting new technology is easier if you have no muscle memory with other technology. That's why 2-year-olds and younger people can just grab technology and go. Because they don't open their iPhone and go, oh, but this is supposed to be a drop-down. Where's my file, edit, view, print button? They don't. They don't have that muscle memory that they've built with older systems. So that's a challenge. Don't for one moment think that older people cannot adapt. It's not about that. Don't think you're going to replace everyone in your company with younger people because they learn tech faster. We might not, and I say we because I'm older, we might not adopt tech so fast because we've got this muscle memory that we've built with other technologies, but we come with a lot of experience, okay? So you've got to keep that in mind. Now, if I look at the next screen, this is a blog I wrote about the evolution of finding stuff. I did a crazy thing in the last 3 years, okay? I wrote an article every single day about Office 365. And then I got bored and I did it again. So I wrote 730 blogs about Office 365. I don't have children, so I have time. But this was one of the articles. So if you go to tracyvanderschrijf.com, you'll find it. Please, use illegal software, download my videos. I don't care. Make it your own. If it can make a change in your company, use my blogs, copy and paste it. It's yours. So the evolution of finding stuff is the thing that I'm saying is going to be the biggest stumbling block in anyone adopting anything in your company, because adoption is culture as well, okay? It's not just about company culture, it's about how we adopt things. So if I look at this screen, I believe that the lowest level is seeing. Who in this room still saves their stuff to their desktops? Can I have your name? Well, I can't read to them, my sweetie. Laura. Can I use you as an example? Okay, I'm going to use Laura as an example. This is a disclaimer. Laura cannot sue me afterwards for anything that's offended her. So when Laura goes on holiday, when she packs her car, because she was the only one who was honest enough to admit that she still saves the stuff on her desktop. You weren't, by the way. Doesn't mean that you don't do it. So when Laura goes on holiday, she doesn't pack anything in the car's boot or the, I don't know what they call it in America. Is it still called the boot? The trunk. That's what we put dead bodies in, okay? But anyway, that's South Africa. So, the trunk. So she puts nothing in the car's trunk. Everything goes on the car's roof. Her partner comes out, the kid comes out and says, hey man, what is this? There's nothing in the trunk. I must remember that. And she says, no, it's going to go on the roof. And they go like, why? Why are you putting it on the car's roof? And she says, because it's easier to find. And I'm going to just take duct tape and stick it down so it doesn't fall off. And while I'm driving, I can just stick my hand out and, oh, there's my favorite shoes and there's my favorite jacket. Because that's why people put things on their desktops, because it's easier to find. It's going to slow her car down. If she gets into a hailstorm, the insurance is going to say, I'm not paying for that one, baby. Should have been in the trunk. That's your C drive. How many times have we lost files on our desktops and then IT says, that's not included in the backup policy or something, right? But we don't help people change that culture. So we still, when we see things, we can find them. It's like at home where we put all our keys on a little table when we walk in the door instead of just putting it in the little cupboard or drawer. Because if we can see it, then we know where it is. That's seeing. Navigating is going, and I really don't even know how this works anymore. If I look for the printers on my machine, start button, what is it? But isn't it program files or something and then settings? Or is it settings immediately? So start button, settings, control panel, no? Okay, somewhere there. So you can see I'm a trainer, I don't even know what that is. Because technology changes, it was called this PC and then it was called desktop or this computer, and that's confusing, right? That's navigating to stuff. Navigating to my files, start my documents. I mean, I don't even know what that stuff is. I don't care. I actually don't care. That's navigating through stuff. Another good example of navigating through stuff is double-clicking through nested folders. Year, month, person, draft, document.co, second version, last final, what? So we become master double-clickers and we think we can find stuff. No, sweetie, you're navigating to it. If someone moves a folder, you won't find it again, which means you're navigating to stuff. The third one is search. I can promise you that there's very few people in your company that uses the Windows button on their keyboards. I'm like, sweetie, just press the Windows button. Is it the one on my screen? No, not the one on your screen. Keyboard. I'm going to use the example. Leslie. I'm IT help desk. Leslie phones me. Hi there, it's Leslie from HR. I'm like, I open my drawer, take out the cough syrup, because it's legal at work, put it back. I'm like, what's up, Leslie? I'm so irritated with this chick because she's phoned me like 4 times this week. I'm so annoyed because she asks the most stupidest things. She goes, someone's deleted my Excel. Because end users don't think they can do things on their own. They think IT people has this, I don't know, there's a time slot that runs Wednesday evenings at 12 and someone logs in and deletes stuff. I don't know. So Leslie says, someone's deleted my Excel. I kind of suspect I know what's happened. She's deleted the shortcut on her desktop, right? Or she's dragged it into another folder. Or she accidentally zoomed out with her mouse and now it's this big. Or she right-clicked and sorted it and now it's not in the top corner anymore. Because Leslie still navigates to stuff. So what do? Les, just hold on. Let me just team viewer into your machine and fix it for you. Click, click. She thinks I'm a freaking rock star. Wow, that Trace is so clever. Just like click, 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 and Excel's back. Did I help Leslie? I kept her nice and stupid the way I like end users. Because then at the next conference, I can complain about end users again. What should I have done? I should have said, Leslie, press that Windows button, not the one on your screen, the one on your keyboard. And Leslie's going to say, what Windows button? I'm going to go in the corner. There we go. Click it. Don't touch the mouse. Type Excel. Don't touch the mouse. Enter. That's how we help people, and that's how we change cultures. We're not helping people. So that's search. Another great example of search, and I don't want to go into the browser now, but I show my clients, management, executive levels that doesn't want to pay for training. I'll go to Google or Bing. Ducati Monster. I've got a lot of motorbikes, it's a problem, okay? Ducati Monster. When I search Ducati Monster, I get 35 million results. I use a plus and a minus. Minus Wikipedia. Why do I go minus Wikipedia? Because people like me who drinks a lot of wine writes Wikipedia articles. You shouldn't trust everything it says. Space plus PDF. Space plus 2016 and I get one result. You'll see it on my blog. Out of 35 million results. Why aren't we teaching users to use pluses and minuses? We go, oh no, the display template for search has changed and online there's no PDF button anymore so people can't find things on the intranet. I'm like, what? Teach them to use a plus and a minus. It'll help them in emails, in Outlook. It'll help them in Explorer. It'll help them on the intranet. We're not teaching people stuff. What is an example of discovery? Not the one that leaks oil. The other one. I'm going to get into trouble. Discovery, I was thinking cars. Okay. Discovery. What is discovery? I was in New York for two days now, and on the street, I don't have data when I go outside of buildings because I come from South Africa. Okay, I don't have a data plan yet. I went out on the street, we went walking around in Times Square. There's these little caravan things next to the road. It's called the something guys. I don't know what it was. Let's say the vegan guys or something. I don't know. They made some crazy food. We walked up there. I didn't pay for the food. I did not take a photo with them. I did not check in there because I was offline. We bought food cash. I walked away, we ate it, I got to the hotel, and as soon as I went online, there was a please rate our service. How crazy is that? That's discovery. Because our phones are using the geolocations. Where are we? Where are we going? That's unbelievable. So the technology that we're using, the technology that they're showing us out there is here. Am I right? Right there in discovery. Where are your end users? Would you say they're there? Technology doesn't drag them there. Training helps them. Awareness campaigns helps them. That's how you change culture. That's something I wrote a good article about it. You can really go and read up to help you a bit with that. So this is your biggest challenge, is the evolution of how we find stuff. People still navigate through folders, so they're not going to start searching by magic. So next up, digital literacy and the ROI of training. Again, I wrote an article about this. You can get all the article, the details, everything on my blog. This is statistics that was done in a 4-year period. I think it was 250,000 people over 33 countries. They suck, they suck, they suck, not so bad, but they still suck. They also suck, and they kind of okay, by the way. This level 3 strong is people who can just kind of come right on computers. If you think the people in your companies are PC literate, you're making a fat mistake. They hate computers. So for me, definitely, the biggest barrier is the computer in front of them, not the tech in the cloud. Their problem is here, not there. You're worrying about that. Let's give them SharePoint online training. No, sweetie, you're going to have to start with this first and help them fix this problem that's in front of them. Again, most of these people, if you want any extra details, it's all on my blog. There's lots of articles that refers to these. So to learn new things, we have to first unlearn old things. Sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? That thing I spoke about, intuitive design, is very much like that. Before I can just adopt new cloud technologies, I have in a weird way, I have to unlearn DOS and Lotus. And does that make sense? You have to, it's not a bad habit, but it's a different path. You have to build a new path in your brain to follow the new technology, but we don't see it like that. We just keep on throwing new technology at these people because we're not thinking about the psychology behind it. So this is very, very important. To learn new things, we have to unlearn old things. The more you know, the harder it is to kind of learn completely new technologies. So have patience with the people that's been in the company for longer, that's worked on older technologies, because it takes a bit longer, because our brain keeps on wanting to go the other way around. Who remembers when was it Office 2007 when the ribbon came out? I was still in support back then. It nearly brought our company to its knees. I had farmers phone me and say, I can't find the print button. I'm serious. Now, 11 years later, we're taking the ribbon away again and we're going back to drop-down menus. You've already seen it in SharePoint, right? That's an impact on people that's now gotten used to the ribbon again. It's going to be a crazy challenge. People are complaining about SharePoint online, most probably because a lot of the ribbons aren't there anymore. It's a very basic, simple thing. Something we have to remember. So keep that in mind when you start looking at training programs and you start helping people. Citizen developers. Part of the new digital first business mindset that you're going to have is helping those citizen developers in your company becoming part of the people who build the solutions. It's not a question of IT doing it anymore and end users sit and wait for it. You're going to have a lot of people build really, really cool things in your company, but you have to support them. You cannot be a decent citizen developer if you don't have the soft skills that goes with it. So what are the soft skills that you need to be a good developer? Didn't think that went together, did you? Soft skills, developer? Was that something that was normal? Being able to ask the right questions. Being able to communicate with the people when you've built a little solution. I call it a citizen developer, okay? I'm not talking about coding. People who can build apps and things in Office 365 now are developers. Just because they don't have to do everything from scratch doesn't mean they don't develop, they don't create. Training skills, communication skills, business analysis, understanding how a process flow chart works, so that they can eventually, when they build big solutions, map out things. Again, wrote a lot of articles about this. I wrote a whole range about citizen developers and helping them. Change management, how does that work? We have to support them on those small skills as well, so that when they build great solutions, they can take it further and roll out great solutions. You don't just send people an email with a link in it. That doesn't change cultures. This brings me to digital literacy, and that's those soft skills that I was talking about. This is exactly why I love Microsoft so much. When I started looking at digital literacy, which is kind of PC literacy with all the other little things, I thought, how amazing is that this looks just like Office 365 to me. All of the apps and cool stuff in Office 365 gives this to us. So instead of going into the company and going, hey, we're rolling out Teams, why don't you do an awareness campaign first around collaboration? Instead of going and saying we're rolling out Stream and Sway, why don't you put little posters up with awareness stuff around creativity and curation of content? Because then next month, so if you kind of build an awareness campaign around this and you say that we want to invest back in our greatest assets, we want you to have a digital passport and be safe in your working environments. These are the things we think you should know. Then next month, when you come to them and say, hey, we're rolling out OneDrive. Let me show you how files on demand works. Let me show you how expiry dates work. Let me show you how you can lock things with passwords, even in Sway. Then they go and they think, oh, this app's amazing. It's going to help me be more safe, or it's going to help me curate content, or it's going to help me be creative. So start with a need. Don't start with a solution. We aim to start with a solution and then we wait and see if they can figure out what they're going to use it for. Start with the awareness so that they understand that those are the skills we need in this modern day and age of ours. This is what you need to be a good digital first business as well, as those type of skills. You don't just bring tech in to do that. You build awareness around this and then give them tech to facilitate with that. So digital literacy, very, very close to my heart. I was joking with Leslie earlier about the help desk, right? But that's something you're going to have to change. So if you go on this roadmap to change your business into a digital-first business, you're going to have to change the way you train, and you'll have to change the way your help desk works. For years and years, the KPIs of people on help desk was to fix problems. Am I right? So when I logged into Leslie's machine and I put the Excel icon back, I was fixing a problem. We should change that into people who fix problems. Then we can scale. We can't scale if you need a techie to fix everyone's Excel shortcuts. If I can teach Leslie to help herself a little bit better, then I can scale and she can become a citizen developer. So I'm saying that the people that you put on help desk should be junior trainers. And not everyone that's on help desk at the moment will be a trainer. They might move on and become a Power App specialist, because there's a job for that. They might become a Flow specialist in support, or specialize in Power BI. But the people that we need on help desk is more trainers. It's not people who fix problems. It's people who goes and says, hey, sweetie, what are you trying to do? Oh, no. Did you know you can rather do this in OneDrive? So if someone logs a call and says, my file that I shared out of Dropbox doesn't want to work so well, don't fix the problem. Say, no, sweet, wait a minute. Have you got OneDrive? Do you understand that you can do this through OneDrive? Cool, man, sorted. That's how we build culture. That's how we scale, not by fixing problems. That's a big thing we're going to have to change. The same as with learning. Textbook learning doesn't work anymore. Don't create your own content in the company. It's crazy, because next Monday morning, the SharePoint settings wheel isn't there anymore. So why document it? Teach people to find stuff on the web. So diversity and roles and things and responsibilities. I've got to be careful to say who's at fault for this, but I've heard a lot of consultants say, cloud is the most amazing thing. Your cost of ownership is going to come down to nearly nothing. It's a lie. Your cost of ownership is going to move. And a stream specialist, and Flow, and Power Apps. You need a go-to person in the company who lives and breathes Twitter, and reads tech community, and what's new in Office 365, and the Office 365 roadmap, who can then come back and say, hey, I've got 10 PowerPoint specialists in the company. Let me ping them a mail and say, hey, do you see design ideas? Woo, that rocks. And they then go back to their departments and tell them about it. Because you're not going to get all your users to start following the product groups. So you need to find these champions, like a pyramid scheme, but a good one, that can filter down all the latest updates and the stuff that's new and cool. And you need to make it part of their KPIs. Research, stay up to date, share it with a company, test it out. Not one person. And that brings me to the company culture. Okay, so what I've done is I've spoken a lot about training and help desk and support and how do we stay up to date. There's no magic thing for this. If you found a nice PDF that you can download somewhere and you fill it in and then you have company culture, because they've been doing change management like that for years and that really worked well for everyone. It doesn't. Don't think you're going to get external people in to come and do this for you, because you cannot sell or contract responsibility out. You can get people to help you with the activities, but take ownership of this and help change your culture. A company culture changes when the following happens, okay? So firstly, such a great quote by Peter Drucker, okay? Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Such a beautiful quote. Your stuff can be so waxed in your company, sweetie, but if that culture is funky, it's not going to work. So that's such an incredible, incredible quote. And there's three very, very important main areas when it comes to this company culture, okay? It's strategy, capabilities, and culture needs to be aligned. Strategy, capabilities, and culture. Somewhere capabilities got dropped off the radar. Capabilities means that if your people are trained and they're empowered, you'll get your company culture right with strategy and with culture. People need to be happy and empowered for you to change your company culture. You don't like, oh, let's do a new logo. Let's do that. And make a new banner, and then everyone's going to be happy. Does that work for you? Because that's how companies do it, isn't it? Or let's redo the canteen with nice red couches, and then we're going to have great company culture. I don't know what that's all about. Not going to work. So that's very important for me. This is one of the most beautiful things that I've come across, okay? So Satya, you can just take a moment maybe to read that. This is in a document that Microsoft brought out. It's like a white paper that said, how did Microsoft digitally transform? Such an incredible article to go and have a look at, okay? And you'll see, very important, it's not just about solutions or deploying stuff, simple software, blah, blah, blah. It's also about, let's see, procuring one. It's not about simple software. It's really about you yourself thinking of your own future as a digital company. It's the way we think about things. It's the way we think about things without thinking about it first. Does that make sense? But it's all about empowering your people. This was 4 pillars that they identified in that PDF, okay? So these are the core drivers. Again, I just put a lot of text up there, but what's very, very important for me is this. Empowering employees was 25% of that load that was important for them to change culture. Engaging in customers, transforming products, optimizing operations. This is where your citizen developers comes in, by the way. So if you don't invest in them in training, then it's going to be a problem. It's not going to work so well. That's also, I just want to see if I can give you the link. So info, Microsoft. So Dynamics 365 and digital transformation. If you go search that, you'll find that PDF. Dynamics 365 and digital transformation PDF. What a cool document to read and how Microsoft did the digital transformation. This kind of brings me to the end, okay, where I want to just summarize what's really, really important to me. I've seen incredible things in companies when we invest in employees. Unbelievable. You think training is expensive? I don't know who quoted it, okay? They must probably put it next to Richard Branson's face and put it on a PDF and then it was his. I don't know. But someone said that. What if I train my employees and they leave? And the other person said, but what if I don't train them and they stay? That's real expensive. I did another article about the ROI on training with a whole infographic. It gives you all the stats with those PC literacy and things, with how much time and money you can save every month if your people are enabled and efficient and they can help themselves. Please start with training. If you train and empower your users, and training is not sending them a link to something, by the way. You're going to have to talk to them. Okay, get involved. If you invest right in the beginning, you don't have to always do this. Invest right in the beginning. I can promise your investment's going to be incredible. Train your people, empower your people. Create a culture where people are happy and they want to stay. People who have the correct tools and the right skills are happy and will stay in a company. Happy employees build their own culture. You don't have to build out fancy posters for it. Please, please go and have a read up about the articles that I wrote. Your biggest stumbling block is the machine that stands in front of the user. They're not using it well, so they're not going to use any other tech behind it well. Invest in digital literacy, basic stuff that you've already forgotten. And you will see as you add training to it, as you add things to it, the culture will grow, the people will become more confident and more efficient. That's me. Thank you. Any questions? I think we've got 3 minutes, so if there's any questions, anyone's welcome to, I don't know. No? Cool. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have an incredible day further and an incredible conference further. I've still got a couple of other sessions, so maybe I'll see you in some of them. But thank you so, so very much.